Today we're going to talk longevity. So recently my husband sent me a couple of links to some videos to watch. One was a 60 minutes interview with a doctor by the name of Dr. Peter Attia. And I watched the interview. I ended up actually doing a little bit of research and watching a few other things that he had put together. And he is a doctor who has made it his goal in life to specialize in longevity. So one of the things that I started thinking about over the last year and a half, as I'm starting to get a little bit older, I'm 65, I'll be 66 next month, and I've started to think a lot more about not really extending my life, but making sure that the life that I have is quality from here on out. I mean, it's been quality till now, but I really wanted to make sure that I could do the best that I could to ensure that I'm healthy, that I'm mentally healthy, I'm physically healthy, I'm able to enjoy my family, my friends, my interests, all those different things. And I realized about a year and a half ago that I really needed to make some serious lifestyle changes. So I started looking initially at diet, which I have lost a considerable amount of weight. I'm at 68 pounds I have lost over the last 15 months. Still have about another 45 pounds to go, but I'm giving myself a nice long year to do that. And over the last couple months, I've really started incorporating different types of exercise. And so I think between the diet and exercise that I've, definitely made some positive improvements. Even with the exercise, I did a lot of research. I didn't just jump in and join a gym. I did join a gym, but I also hired a personal trainer. I wanted to make sure that I was doing strength training, that I was getting plenty of cardio, and that I really was not making mistakes that were going to hurt me. Because a lot of times we don't know how to use machines correctly. We don't exactly know how to do exercises correctly, especially if we've never really done them before or done much of them. So I wanted to make sure that I was learning how to use the machines properly at the gym, that I knew how much I was supposed to be doing, how many reps, how many pounds of exercise weights to put on for different kinds of exercises. And I think it's been going pretty good. I can already tell a huge difference going up and down stairs. That to me is just shocking because I've been having a problem going up and down stairs now for probably a good 7 or 8 years. And I just assumed that it was arthritis. And so I've kind of babied it and this and that, which I think actually was the wrong thing to do. Now that I've started exercising and I'm starting to build up muscles in my legs, I notice I can go up and down steps much more easily. And I'm hoping by the end of this next year that I'm flying up and down stairs. So what I really liked about some of these interviews and such with this doctor is that he kind of explained things in a way that really made sense to me. Things I've already been kind of thinking about on my own and researching on my own, but really support a lot of the things and answered a lot of the questions that I've been having. And one of them is that modern medicine today really focuses more on disease, treatment. It's not really so much disease prevention. And although there are some things you can do, different types of tests and things to make sure that you don't have something get away from you, like a colonoscopy or a mammogram or, physicals every year. Really for the most part, a lot of people don't do those types of things. They're not really focused on prevention as far as diseases. It's more oh my gosh, I've got something, let's treat it. And I think by the time you've got it and you're treating it, that's when the problems start. So his focus is more, from what my understanding was from watching one of his videos, he started off out of his residency working as a doctor, working in a cancer hospital or cancer treatment. And he realized that, it was just not something he really wanted to do. It was focused on people that already were in the stages of cancer and not really able to treat them enough to get well. And he decided that he wanted to go a different direction and really try to prevent that type of thing from ever happening in the first place. So I like his model of thinking more about disease prevention rather than disease treatment. So the second thing he talks about in his video, and I actually ordered a couple of his books, they'll be here in the next week, are the Four Horsemen of Chronic Disease. So these are things that I know we're probably all aware of, we probably all hear of, but they are arterial sclerosis, cancer. The third one is neurological diseases. And the fourth one is type 2 diabetes. Now, the interesting part about this is basically he's looking at like the main four things that are things you can work on preventing. Now, not everybody, because of genes and history and all that, are going to be able to prevent those things 100%. But I think they're things that if you work on them through diet and exercise and screenings and things like that, that you can do a good job of keeping those at bay as long as possible, maybe keeping them at bay for good. So arterial sclerosis, if I've pronounced that right, is really heart attacks, strokes. A lot of this is diet and exercise related. It's a fact. If you are not exercising, if you are eating a lot of fatty foods, a lot of fried foods, a lot of foods that don't include healthy greens and vegetables and healthy diet, most likely you're going to have a problem with arterial sclerosis. You're also going to have a problem just because of aging. But if you exercise and you eat a healthy diet and you do the screening for these things, you can hopefully keep that from being something that's going to be a major problem in your life. The second is cancer. I mean, there's been a lot of things that have come out over the last 30, 40 years that have talked about how important it is to have annual screenings, to, eat proper foods, to stay away from foods like nitrites and MSG and those different types of cancer-causing things, smoking, drinking a lot of alcohol, things like that. And those are things that, through taking care of our bodies, hopefully with some good genes, you're going to, be able to, if not prevent all types of cancer, at least catch them early on. The fourth thing is neurological diseases. These are things like Alzheimer's, dementia, things like this. And one of the best ways that they're talking about, longevity doctors are talking about preventing these things, are exercise and diet and stress. I mean, you need, less stress, you need more sleep, you need good diet, you need lots of exercises. All these things will help you later on in life. And then the fourth thing, which I think is a big problem in our country, is type 2 diabetes. And, that's another thing that through diet, exercise, and, really taking care of all those different things that you're going to be able to really, keep yourself out of a nursing home. So in his book, he talks about the best longevity tool that we have is exercise. And I can tell you just from the short time that I have been implementing exercise into my plan, how much better I feel. Now, I already was a pretty good sleeper. I've never really had a lot of problems with sleeping and things like that. But I do sleep really strong. I mean, I fall asleep, I sleep through the night, I don't wake up in the middle of the night, I sleep till morning. I feel refreshed when I wake up. But I think the bigger thing that's happening is that I've noticed my day-to-day being able to do things. I've had a lot less joint pain, which to me just sounds unbelievable. Now, I have had a lot of shoulder pain, but I think that's from the fall I took a couple months ago. I had went through some physical therapy. I've been working with my trainer to really help strengthen my shoulder. So my shoulder is getting better, but I think it still could take another month or two before I'm back to normal. But overall, I'm noticing a big difference in my overall joint health. I was taking multivitamins, but in addition to that, I can really tell that the exercise is starting to help. I don't know if it's helping those specific joints, but I think it's helping to build the muscles around those joints. And then the next thing that he talks about, which I think is really important and something that the diet I've been on for the last 15 months has really complemented completely, which the diet I've been on is called Trim Healthy Mama. And so he talks about how important it is to increase your protein. You should be eating protein, quite a bit of protein actually, that it's actually very good for cell repair. It's good for all kinds of things. So to increase the protein, to decrease your, carbs, your sugars, things like that's really important. And he's talking more about like the refined carbs and sugars, not carbs you would get from vegetables and fruits and things like that, whole grains and nuts. So those are two important things. And then I think the third thing, which I just started, was intermittent fasting. That intermittent fasting or fasting can also be really helpful for you. He talks a lot about how important it is to have annual tests done, to check your blood work, to do different types of scans. I mean, he actually recommends a full body MRI every year just to see what's going on in your body. I don't know if that's something I would ever consider doing, but it sounds like something that might be good for you. He also talks about how important it is to have good mental health, which a lot of that is linked to sleep and diet and exercise and everything kind of together. And so there's just all kinds of really great takeaways from that, those interviews that I've been watching. But I'm really excited to get the book. I bought the book. The first one that I got was The Science and Art of Longevity. And then I also got the diet book as well. So I wanted, not so much that I'm going to follow the diet at this point. I'm going to look through it. And it's supposed to have like 60 really good recipes. I want to compare those to the Trim Healthy Mama cookbook and see. It sounds like there's a lot of similarities in the way that they look at food and the way that he looks at food. So I'm very interested to review those recipes, and I'm going to share those with you, different ones that I find that are really good or healthy or might be of interest to you. I'm going to make several of them and share them on my channel. So anyway, I just thought I would go over some of those things. If you were interested in reviewing any of the materials, I'm going to link a couple of his books in my Amazon store. I'm going to link the ones that I bought personally. And if you're interested in following along or learning more about that, why not? I think as we're going through this journey of health, why not look at making the last 10 years, the last decade of your life, one of the best and most healthy, and enjoy it as much as possible. So I hope this video was of interest to you. I hope you're having a good success on your Thanksgiving challenge. If you're following the 10-pound weight loss challenge, I'm going to link that video above if anyone's interested in doing that with us. There's several of us on my channel that are doing that challenge right now. I'm trying to lose 10 pounds by Thanksgiving Day, and I've already lost some weight, and I think it's probably a combination of the diet and the intermittent fasting. So if you're interested, check that out. And that's it for today. So if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Give me a like, a thumbs up, or ring that bell for future notifications and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.